Muhamad Iqbal and I'm from 127 number 21. In Myanmar, the armed forces have seized power and detained the country's leader Aung San Su Kyi and other democratically elected figures. Troops are patrolling the streets and nighttime curfew is enforced along with a one-year state of emergency. The US President Joe Biden has raised the possibility of imposing new sanctions. Now, the army there alleges that the recent election victory by Mr. Xi's party was undermined by fraud. She has urged her supporters to protest against the military coup. Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, was ruled by the military until 2011. After democratic reforms, Aung San Suu Kyi was in partial control with the military's agreement after spending 15 years under house arrest. Aung San Suu Kyi was held around the world as a symbol of democracy. She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, her leadership and reputation are damaged after defending the army's brutal treatment of Myanmar's minority community of Rohingya Muslims. But she still enjoys great support among many people in Myanmar. The ACDC's Muhammad Raihan has related.
Hello, I'm Muhammad Raihan from 127, attendance number 20. I'm here as a field anchor. Thank you. An army reverting to autocratic type swiftly and ruthlessly deposing a democratically elected leader. Somewhere behind the guns, Aung San Suu Kyi is once more a prisoner of the general. And even if people never trust the military, they are still shocked at what's happened.
The army assaulted people as it carried out a coup on the civilian government elected by our people. Our country is just a bird learning to fly. Now the army has broken our wings.
I am surprised and shaken. I fear that prices will rise and people will revolt. I hope that Aung San Suu Kyi and her colleagues will be freed sooner rather than later.
The crisis began when Suu Kyi's party won a landslide victory in election last November. That win may have convinced the military that their hold on key security ministries, the root of the real power here, was threatened. This was their response relayed to the public on state television. Allegation of election fraud from an army notorious for its human rights abuses. There will be a state of emergency for a year with limitless power to detain political enemies. This is the husband of woman MP asking the soldier what they want. His wife's taken away in one of the numerous down raids except them to escalate. The coup has an air of dark familiarity. For decades, the military has tried to maintain a monopoly of power. This was in 1995 when Aung San Suu Kyi was released after her first 6 years of arrest. The woman I met then was a global human rights icon.
I think I became more political after I was put under house arrest than before. Because once I was under house arrest, I became totally a political animal. Because this was my whole existence.
But human rights would eventually come second to politics. 3 years ago, by now sharing power with the military, Aung San Suu Kyi defended general accused of genocide against the Rohingya Muslims, even appearing for the defense at a war crimes trial in The Hague.
Do you ever worry that you will be remembered as the champions of human rights, the Nobel laureate, who failed to stand up to ethnic cleansing in her country?
In her own country?
No, because I don't think there's ethnic cleansing going on.
For Western powers, the issue isn't about a personality but the principle of democracy in Myanmar. And tonight, President Biden threatened renewed sanctions on the military, but he needs Chinese support, and that's far from assured given the competition for regional influence between Beijing and Washington, and China's long-standing support for the general. The army supporters were on the street today, but the cheers won't echo for long. Ahead lies deepening isolation, perilously uncertainty. Muhammad Raihan, ACDC News.